Hello, dear students, good morning. Students, as you know, we have completed the chapter number 5th. So now it's turn to start the next chapter. And we are going to read the chapter number 6th in this lecture. We are going to start the chapter number 6 on the face of it. Please be attentive and listen to this, listen to my voice very carefully. Listen to each and every part of my explanation concerning to this chapter, so that you can be able to understand each and everything on your part very nicely. On the face of it, the name of the chapter is on the face of it. Beta, in this chapter, on the face of it, first of all, we would like to get some important points concerning to this chapter, which is a play in itself. Firstly, I tell you here that the chapter or the play written by Susan Hill, an English playwright, is basically themed on important two things. The first, how to overcome disabilities in life, and the second, the role of a good friendship in life. The role of a good friendship in life. Beta, the play explores here some important points concerning to the meeting of such two persons who are partially physically handicapped. There are only two characters in this play. The number one is an old man whose name is Mr. Lamb, and the number two is here a small boy whose age is 14, and the name of this small boy is Drake, D-E-R-E-K, who is fondly called Daddy. Okay, beta. Since it is told to us that a person who is physically handicapped, mentally impaired, should never get himself or herself depressed in life, because there are so many things in life which we can, or which a handicapped person can do. So during the conversation that takes place between these two main characters of this play, it is clearly indicated how a person can easily overcome and defeat all kinds of challenges, disabilities, impairments in life if he or she changes his or her attitude, perspective towards his or her life. It is totally possible. The first character, Mr. Lamb, who is an old man, leads a solitary life. Okay, beta. There is no other member in his family. He lives quite alone in his in his lonely house, built or constructed, you may say situated in the middle of his garden also. Since the person is totally positive, optimistic, friendly, sympathetic, generous, kind-hearted, so open-minded, far-sighted, is regarded, is loved, is respected by each and everyone. He never cares for the partial disability of his life. Though he has lost one of his two legs, though he has lost his one leg in some explosion, and he has also got he has also got a tin rod fitted in his broken leg, prostrated leg, but thereafter he does not care for it, and he remains totally cheerful. He does not think that he is handicapped. He always welcomes each and every person. He is fully social. He is totally social. But on the other hand, this is the 14-year-old small boy, teenager, okay, who has also a partial impairment, physical impairment, since one side of his face has been burnt by acid, and it looks so dirty, so ugly, and it has made his face as well as his beautiful appearance so ugly, okay, so disfigured. So on account of this a very little physical impairment, this the child, okay, whose name is Drake or Derry, beta does not want to lead. He does not want to lead his life. Sometimes he thinks that he should end up his life. Since he has cut off, he has cut off himself, he has cut off himself from the society and his family members also. He thinks that there is no one, okay, in the world who can take care of him and who can listen to his voice. When he sits and stands by the side of the people, okay, he starts thinking that people are badly afraid of him, though they don't speak any such words to him, but thereafter he thinks so. Such kinds of facts run here in this play from the beginning till the end, and here are three scenes in this play. In the first scene, it is the play is set up, okay, in the garden of this the main protagonist of this play, Mr. Lamb, and the second scene and the third scene, both the scenes take place in the house of Derry, okay, whose mother is also totally conservative and who does not want her child Derry, okay, to visit, to meet Lamb, who is really so friendly natured and so open hearted man, but she thinks that he is not a good person and she does not want to send her child to this person's garden. So better now, I think when we will read this, when we start reading it, we will find, we will find each and every things, okay, in detail, and I hope you will surely pay your full attention to my explanation and get full benefit of this video. Okay, thank you. Let's start reading. On the face of it, Susan Hill. Okay, beta. Before you read, this is a play featuring the word feature. Feature means displaying here, beta. Characterizing. Okay, pointing out. This is a play featuring means this is a play displaying, okay, characterizing, telling something about an old man and a small boy meeting in the farmer's garden. Here are two nouns, as you can see here in this statement. The first stands for an old man and the second refers to here a small boy. So the word farmer, F-O-R-M-E-R, farmer, is always used to highlight the first noun. Okay, so here the word farmer stands for an old man. So this is a play featuring an old man and a small boy meeting in the farmer's garden. The play which we are going to start, okay, will explore the facts in connection with the meeting which takes place between these two characters, main two characters of this play, okay, an old man and a small boy, and they both have their meeting in the garden of the old man. The old man strikes up a friendship with the boy. Okay, this is the old man. Okay, this is the old man makes a friendship with this small boy who is very withdrawn. The word withdrawn stands for here unsocial, reserved, cut off, like this. This the small boy really remains totally reserved, withdrawn, indifferent, aloof, okay, and far away from all persons of the society, and defiant. The word defiant stands for a bit disobedient, unmanageable, okay, violating the authority, violating the voice of the people in the society, like this. So the old man strikes up a friendship with the boy who is very withdrawn and defiant. The old man, who is really very kind-hearted person, makes up a good friendship with this small boy, with this small child, with this teenager, who is totally reserved, who does not want to sit and stand by the side of any person, okay, and who is also totally disobedient and unmanageable. What is the bond that unites the two, beta? The word unite stands for here keeps together, okay, alliances, or you may say here, okay, connects. What is the bond? Bond stands for here relation. So what kind of relation is set up between these two persons, which connects these two hearts, which connects these two minds together? Scene 1. Mr. Lamb's garden. Beta, here are 3 scenes in this play. So now let's start reading the details of the first scene. Scene 1. Mr. Lamb's garden. The first scene is displayed. The first scene is presented in the garden of Mr. Lamb, 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 who is an old man, okay, in his age. There is the occasional sound of bird song and of tree leaves rustling. One can easily, okay, listen to the sound of or hear the sound of the melodious songs sung by the birds sitting on the trees, and the sound of the striking leaves of the trees, which is known as rustling. Rustling means, beta, the word rustle stands for here a little sound of something cracking, okay, cracking sound. There is the occasional sound of bird song and of tree leaves rustling. This the garden of or we may say the garden of this old man, Mr. Lamb, is almost packed every time, filled every time with the sweet songs of the birds, and the little cracking sound of the tree leaves, okay. I would like to give you the translation also, but firstly explanation. In the first round I would like to give the explanation better. There is footsteps are heard as he walks slowly and tentatively through the long grass. Derry, who is a small boy, enters the garden of this old man, Mr. Lamb. So when he enters the garden and starts walking from one place to another, so the sound of his footsteps is heard. Okay, I have given the explanation in my own language. The sound of Derry's footsteps. Now I have used here the subject as sound, which is singular. The sound of Derry's footsteps is heard as he starts walking very slowly and tentatively means, better, doubtfully. Okay, in a very doubtful manner. Okay, suspiciously through the long grass. When this the small boy named Derry, okay, enters the garden of the old man Mr. Lamb, and when he starts walking, okay, with slow steps, so cautiously through the long grass, the sound of his footsteps is heard by the later. The word later stands for by the owner, by Mr. Lamb, by the owner of this garden. डेरी के कदमों की आवाज़ को सुना जाता है कब? जब वह लंबी उस बगीचे की लंबी घास में से होकर के बड़े ही सावधानीपूर्वक ढंग से बड़े संकित मुद्रा में सावधानीपूर्वक ढंग से जब वह धीरे धीरे कदमों के सब आगे बढ़ना शुरू करता है, चलना शुरू करता है, तो उसके कदमों की आवाज़ सुनाई दे जाती है उसके मालिक को. कौन से मालिक को? श्रीमान लैम्ब को. ही पॉजेज, he stands for here Derry, a small boy. This the small boy Derry stops walking, then walks on again. Why does he stop walking? He stops walking, he takes a pause in order to check it out whether he is being seen by somebody or not at this moment. And then when he confirms it that there is no one, okay, in his surrounding area, he again starts walking. he again starts walking through the long grass. वह चलना बंद कर देता है ये देख करके, ये देखने के लिए कि कहीं कोई देख तो नहीं रहा है, कोई आसपास उसके कोई है तो नहीं। लेकिन उसके बाद जब उसको फिर दोबारा से तसल्ली हो जाती है कि मेरे आसपास कोई नहीं है, तो फिर दोबारा से बेटा हुआ फिर चलने लग जाता है, एक चोर की भांति, बिकॉज ही हैज़ एंटर द गार्डन टोटली अनऑथराइजिंगली विदाउट गेटिंग एनी परमिशन, illegally. Okay, being a trespasser, he comes around a screen of bushes while walking through the long grass. While walking through the long grass, this is the child Derry finally, okay, gets very near. Gets mean reaches. Gets very near a cluster of the small bushes. Cluster of the small bushes. So that whenever he is seen by somebody, he can hide himself very safely. वह झाड़ियों के उस समूह के पास उसके इर्द गिर्द आकर के रुक जाता है, खड़ा हो जाता है. So that when Mr. Lamb speaks to him, he is close at hand. Close at hand stands for beta very near or approaching. Okay, at the close quarter. And Derry is startled. So when Derry, this the small boy, finds his position very near, okay, the cluster of bushes, he is totally unknown to the fact that he has reached very near. He is reached very near, okay, the owner of this garden, Mr. Lamb, who is already sitting there. Okay, उसको इस बात का पता नहीं होता है कि वह श्रीमान लैम्ब के बिल्कुल पास जाकर के खड़ा हो गया है, जहाँ पर वो अपने आप को छिपाने के लिए खड़ा हुआ है, वहीं पर श्रीमान लैम्ब भी बैठा हुआ है. When Mr. Lamb speaks to him, and when Mr. Lamb speaks some words to him, he gets startled, means he gets badly surprised. He gets highly astonished. Startled stands for beta stunned, S-T-U-N-D, stunned, badly surprised. Mr. Lamb, mind the apples. Now the main part of the play begins. As soon as Mr. Lamb looks at this child, at this small boy, and finds his presence very near, okay, very near him, so he speaks such words to him. In a very great surprise. Mr. Lamb, mind the apples, like this. While giving some instruction, while giving some warning to this small boy, Derry, the Lamb tells him that while walking through the long grass, he should not walk blindly, but he should take care of the apples also, which are already fallen on the ground. Mind the apples means while taking some more steps ahead to him, he should be very careful regarding the apples, which are already fallen down to the ground and lying on the ground at that time amidst the grass. What? When Derry, the small boy, happens to listen to such kind of voice, he gets really so much surprised, and he asks, what kind of voice it is? What kind of voice it is? Who is that? He also gives the second question to the voice in order to ask, who is that? Who is that means who has not seen the person. Whoever is here, okay, should appear before him. Who is there? Again he asks, who is there in his surrounding? Who is there in the garden? Who is there in the garden? Mr. Lamb. Lamb's my name. Mr. Lamb tells Derry. Mr. Lamb, who is very, very close, okay, to the small boy, Derry, tells him that his name is Mr. Lamb, and he is speaking his words to him. He is speaking his words to him. He has spoken the words. He has addressed him. Mind the apples, crab apples, those are. Again he wants the child to be very careful, for the apples which are already fallen, okay, down on the ground. Crab apples, wild apples, okay, those are. Crab apples means wild apples, those are. He also tells him that the apples which are already fallen on the ground are totally wild and they may be crushed by him if he walks over them. Wind falls in the long grass. While telling something about the wild apples, he also tells him that these the wild apples have fallen to the ground, okay, due to the fast blowing winds. Due to the fast blowing winds, these the wild apples have fallen down to the ground and are still lying, okay, on the ground amidst the grass. You could trip, and he also guessed it that if he did not care for them, if he does not, he also guesses so that in the present tense, if he does not care of his words, he may walk over them, he could walk over them. उसने कहा कि देखो मैं हिंदी में बताता हूँ, मिस्टर लैम्ब ने कहा माइंड द एप्पल्स। लैम्ब ने कहा अरे भाई संभल के चलना, सेबों का थोड़ा ध्यान देना, सेबों का। डैरी को जब ये आवाज़ सुनाई थी तो क्योंकि मैंने बताया अभी कि डैरी को इस बात का कोई इस प्रकार का कोई किसी प्रकार का पूर्वाभास नहीं था, उसने ऐसी कोई अपने पार्ट पर एक्सपेक्टेशन नहीं की हुई थी कि भाई मुझे वहाँ पर बगीचे में कोई व्यक्ति मिल सकता है। उसने सोचा कि बगीचा खाली रहता है। उसने क्या है भाई, ये किसकी आवाज़ है भाई, कौन है भाई, अरे कौन है। 3 बार उसने इस प्रकार से क्वेश्चन किया। मिस्टर लैम्ब ने उचित समझा उसको बताना। उसने कहा श्रीमान लैम्ब जो है, मिस्टर लैम्ब ने कहा मेरा नाम लैम्ब है, लैम्ब नाम का मैं व्यक्ति बोल रहा हूँ भाई, ज़रा सेबों का ध्यान रखना, संभल के चलना, ये जंगली सेब है। विंड फॉल्स इन द लॉन्ग ग्रास, तेज़ हवा के झोंकों की वजह से लंबी घास में ये सेब जो हैं ये गिर गए हैं। यू कुड ट्रिप, यदि आपने ध्यान दे करके आगे कदम नहीं बढ़ाया तो आप शायद इन सेबों को कुचल करके आगे चल सकते हो और सेब खराब हो सकते हैं। डैरी, एट दैट टाइम डैरी मस्ट हैव रियली गॉट सो मच सरप्राइज्ड। बेटे आई थॉट दिस वॉज एन एम्प्टी प्लेस, डैरी टोल्ड, और इन द प्रेजेंट टेंस डैरी टेल्स, since it's a play so I should give you the explanation present tense only. Daddy tells Mr. Lamb that before entering his garden he has expected it that there is no one in the garden. It remains totally empty. I didn't know there was anybody here, and he is totally surprised to know that somebody is here because he can hardly expect it. Now the statement is in the past, so I would like to give the explanation in the past tense also better. Daddy told Mr. Lamb that he had not expected it on his part that that he would ever meet somebody in the garden. He thought that the garden was totally empty and he could hardly meet anybody there. That's why he had entered here. उसको ये कहना चाह रहा है कि देखो मुझे तो ऐसा लगा कि भाई मैंने तो ये सोचा था कि ये आपका बगीचा बिल्कुल खाली रहता है, इसमें कोई रहता नहीं है, इसलिए मैंने आपके अपने बगीचे में प्रवेश कर लिया। आई डेंट नो देयर वाज एनीबॉडी हियर, मुझे नहीं पता था कि यहाँ पर कोई व्यक्ति रहता भी होगा। मिस्टर लैम्ब, बेटा कम टू द नेक्स्ट पेज। दैट्स ऑल राइट, आई एम हेयर, व्हाट आर यू अफ्रेड ऑफ बॉय, दैट्स ऑल राइट। मिस्टर लैम्ब गेट्स एग्रीड विद दिस चाइल्ड डैरी एंड ही टेल्स हिम दैट now he can see his presence there in the garden, since he is already sitting there in front of his eyes, and he need not get afraid of anything. He also assures him that he need not get afraid of anything, as there is no such thing which can make him scared. उसने कहा कि मैं यहाँ पर बैठा हूँ, तो जैसे कि आप देख रहे हो, और आपको जो है ना किसी प्रकार से किसी चीज़ से डरने की आवश्यकता नहीं है। आप आ गए हो अंदर, कोई बात नहीं, आ गए हो तो आ गए हो, कोई बात नहीं, सब ठीक है, सब ठीक है। डैडी, आई थॉट इट वॉज एम्प्टी, एन एम्प्टी हाउस। Again Daddy repeated the same voice and told him that he thought that the garden was totally empty, that's why he had entered it. Okay, foolishly. Mr. Lamb, so it is. Again Mr. Lamb tells Daddy that the garden is totally empty, there is no one in the garden except he, since I am out here in the garden. Sorry, an empty house, I am sorry. Daddy told Lamb that he thought that the house was totally empty and there was nobody lived in that house in the garden. So Daddy tells him that it is totally right. He is not at mistake. His guess is totally correct. Since there is no one in the house, since I am out here in the garden, since He is already out in the garden. He is already outside the house in the garden. He is already outside the house in the garden and he is sitting in the garden. The house is empty. It is empty. वो कहता है भाई तुम ठीक कह रहे हो, ये मकान तो मेरा खाली है. Since I am out here in the garden, since he has already come out of the house and he is sitting in the garden, मैं तो घर छोड़ करके यहाँ गया हूँ और घर में अब कोई है भी नहीं, दूसरा कोई व्यक्ति नहीं मेरे पास मेरे साथ, मैं बगीचे में अकेला रहता हूँ. इट इज़ एम्प्टी, ये खाली है. Until I go back beside. He also tells him that it will remain, the house will remain empty until and unless he goes back to live inside the house. In the meantime, I am out here and likely to stop. In the meantime means just, okay, recently, very soon, of late, recently he has come out of his house, okay, and he has decided to stop here for some time. A day like this, beautiful day, not a day to be indoors. Okay, he tells Derry that this is a very fantastic day, very nice day, beautiful day. The weather is so pleasant, and nobody would like to remain inside the house. Okay, in such a very pleasantful atmosphere of the day. That's why he has come out of the house and he has stayed here outside the garden. अरे बोला कितना सुहावना दिन है, कितना सुहावना मौसम है यार. इस प्रकार के सुहावने मौसम में कौन घर के अंदर रहना चाहेगा. Derry gets himself panicked. I have got to go. Got means better decided. Derry tells quite frankly that he has decided to go back to his home. उसने कहा कि वो कहता है कि देखो भाई मैंने फैसला कर लिया कि मैं अब यहाँ के बगीचे में नहीं रुकूंगा. डैरी जो कि थोड़ा भयभीत सा नजर आता है, वो कहता है कि मैंने घर जाने का वापस फैसला कर लिया है. Mr. Lamb, not on my account. I don't mind who comes into the garden. The gate is always open. Only you climbed the garden wall. Mr. Lamb tells Derry that he should not go back to his home on account of his statement, of his side. Since he never minds it who enters his garden. The gate is always open. He always keeps the main gate of his garden quite open, wide open. It is only he who has climbed the garden wall. उसने कहा कि मात्र केवल आप ही एक ऐसे लड़के मुझे दिखाई दिए हो जिसने कि मेरे बगीचे की दीवार को लांग करके और बगीचे में प्रवेश किया है. तुम दीवार के ऊपर चढ़े हो, चढ़ करके तुमने बगीचे में अपने आप को प्रवेश कराया है. उसने कहा मेरी तरफ से तो वापस घर जाना मत, मैंने तो कुछ कहा नहीं आपको. Mr. Lamb tells Derry that he has told him anything offensive and he should not go back to his home from his own account of his said words. भाई मैंने जो शब्द कहे उसके हिसाब से तो मैंने कुछ ऐसा बोला नहीं आपको कि आप मेरे शब्दों को सुन करके आप परेशान हो जाओ, दुखी हो जाओ, अपने घर वापस जाओ. नहीं, ऐसा नहीं. ये दरवाज़ा हमेशा खुला रहता है और आप कभी भी आ सकते हो. Derry angry, you were watching me. Now Derry gets so much angry and he tells Mr. Lamb that he had been watching him when he climbed the wall. Okay, यानी कि उसने कहा कि जब मैंने दीवार के ऊपर अपने आप को चढ़ाया क्या तो उस वक्त आप मुझे देख रहे थे. Mr. Lamb, I saw you, but the gate is open, all welcome, you are welcome, I sit here, I like sitting. Mr. Lamb told him that he had already seen him climbing the wall and he did not know, but he would like to tell him that the gate of his garden remains always open. He always welcomes each and every person. He is also welcomed. He sits here and he likes sitting. Such kind of statements are made by Derry. Okay, beta. So now the next part of this statement, because okay, no matter. I saw you, but the gate is open. उसने कहा कि देखो मैंने तुम्हारे को दीवार पर चढ़ते हुए देख लिया था और जो है मेरे बगीचे का दरवाज़ा हमेशा खुला रहता है. सभी का मैं स्वागत करता हूँ, तुम्हारा भी स्वागत है. तुम यहाँ पर, मैं यहाँ पर बैठा हूँ जैसे कि आप देख रहे हो. मुझे बैठना बड़ा पसंद है, खुले में आकर बैठना बड़ा पसंद है. Derry, I had not come to steal anything. Derry tells Mr. Lamb that he has not entered his garden with an intention of stealing something. बोला मैं चोरी करने की नीयत से, इरादे से तुम्हारे बगीचे में नहीं आया हूँ. Mr. Lamb, no, the young lads still scrump the apples. You are not so young. Mr. Lamb tells Derry that he cannot blame him like this. बोला मैं तुम पर इस प्रकार का आरोप थोड़ी लगा सकता हूँ. You are not little kid. You are not a little child. Only the little kids, young lads, little kids in their age, small age, in their ages. Only the little kids steal. They also spoil the apples. They also pick up the apples and steal the apples. You are not so young. You are not so young. You are not so child. You are not so little in your age. तुम इतने छोटे हो थोड़ी उम्र में. तुम अपनी उम्र में इतने छोटे नहीं हो कि तुम इस प्रकार से चोरी करने की नीयत से यहाँ पर आओगे. Daddy, I just wanted to come in into the garden. Daddy told them that he just wanted to come in. He just wanted to come in only to see the garden. He has entered the garden in order to see it, enjoy the sight of it. Mr. Lamb, so you did? Here we are then. Mr. Lamb tells Daddy that he has entered the garden and they both are sitting there. They both are present there. He has not committed any offense. तुमने कोई अपराध थोड़ी कर दिया है. आ गए तो आ गए हो. Daddy, you don't know who I am. Daddy tells Mr. Lamb that he does not know who he is. तुम्हें शायद ये पता नहीं है कि मैं कौन हूँ. Mr. Lamb, a boy. Mr. Lamb tells Daddy that he is a boy, 13 or so, and his age could be, okay, around 13, less or more 13. Daddy, 14 pause, but I have got to go now. Goodbye. Daddy tells Mr. Lamb that his age is 14 and he stops speaking any more words better, and he again tells that he has decided to go back to his home and he bids him goodbye. He bids him goodbye. वो उसको अलविदा कह देता है. कहता है ठीक है मेरी उम्र 14 वर्ष है. वो फिर बोलना बंद कर देता है. कहता है ठीक है मैंने जाने का निश्चय कर लिया, मैं जा रहा हूँ. बेटा द बेल हैज़ गॉन. नाउ आई वुड लाइक टू टेक माई पीरियड and I have prepared this the lecture for you at school also. Thank you beta, up to here.